And in honor of that, we are going to do a quick little comic book movie draft. Obviously, it's a genre we both absolutely love. And there's just so many. So we're gonna do 10 picks each, snake draft just like normal, but I feel like 10 picks will be a little bit more fun. Um, and give us some more to talk about. But yeah, so I feel like you always end up getting first pick, but I'm still gonna flip a coin.
I was
Like we
gonna let you go first, so
No, dude, we gotta flip a coin. All right, I'm gonna pick though. I'm gonna go heads.
all right.
Hey Siri, flip a coin. It's tails, of course. You always get first pick, bro. Always, always, always. Hey man, that is okay. It's all right. It's okay. We probably wouldn't have taken the same.
Yeah, because
I don't.
I think I know what you would go, but I actually was hoping that you would go first so I could like think about it. So, oh man, okay. There's a lot of different ways I could go here. I'm just gonna go. All right, first pick, one win. Probably not like. I'm going based off comic books. So I'm not going based off movie. I'm gonna go comic book movie. That's the draft we're doing. Okay, so 1-1. I'm gonna go with Matt Reeves' Batman, the most recent Batman with Robert Pattinson. The reason I'm doing that is I love The Dark Knight. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. However, I think Matt Reeves does a better job of capturing Batman as a whole than Christopher Nolan did. I think The Dark Knight's a better movie. I think Matt Reeves' Batman is a better Batman movie, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me it does. I think it captures the uh, detective eeriness of Gotham City. Robert Pattinson is awesome. He does a wonderful job. So I'm going to go Matt Reeves' Batman is 1-1. That
So
is my
you're
pick.
essentially saying that Matt Reeves is the Batman is the greatest superhero movie of all time.
It might be.
That's
It might
bold,
be.
bold statement,
The
but I don't
brave
hate it.
it might be brave and bold.
Roll
Matt Reeves,
credit.
please come to the DCU, please.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I. We didn't really talk about it, and we don't have to keep talking about it. But I don't know if I want to see that Batman in the DCU. It's just two completely different tones. But who knows?
I
We'll
don't know
see.
if I want another Bat. I can't do another Batman movie though. Like I can't do Matt Reeves Batman and then me give me another Batman. I don't know if I want that. And I know Matt Reeves will do a good job.
We'll see. We'll
And
see.
that would, oh my God,
I
David
did not.
Cornsweet, Robert Pattinson, that would be hilarious.
I didn't think that you would go that first pick. I literally
Yeah,
did not think that at all. You probably
I
know what my first pick is.
yeah,
Uh, it's my personal favorite superhero movie of all time. Like you said, like it might not be the best um movie, and it might not even really be the best superhero movie of all time, but it's my personal favorite. It's the one that means the most to me, and that is the first Iron Man. I remember going to see it with Dad and my brother, and that just like really, obviously, I love the Spider-Man movies growing up, but I feel like that one like really like got the ball rolling for superhero movies to be cool again. And just look what's come of it. Look how many movies and TV shows and spinoffs we have,
yeah,
just because of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. I think it's the greatest comic book casting of all time, um, and it's still genuinely one of my most favorite. It is my
yeah.
most favorite superhero movie. I could watch it a million times and just always enjoy it. Um, yeah. So that is Iron Man with pick number one. So snake draft. So my second pick, I am going to take one of the original Spider-Man with Toby. I'm going to go with Spider-Man 2. I think that is, I think, I don't know. Iron Man's a great movie. I think when I think of like a comic book movie, I feel like Spider-Man 2 has to be like the best. It's just so sick the way it's done and the way it's shot and all the action and Doc Ock and him like, fighting along the sides of the building and the whole train sequence and just so many just sick things. Then it deals with like him, having an identity crisis and like is he really Spider-Man or is he not? Like all this stuff. I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the most iconic superhero movies of all time. I still think Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. And yeah, honestly, all around, I think this is the best Spider-Man movie, period. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 2. So back to you for your second pick.
Speaking of Spider-Man, just in general, I walked into the house today. We left the TV on for Nugget while we left, and the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is on. So, watch the last 10 minutes of that. I think he gets a little too much hate. I really do. I think it's very good. Andrew Garfield was definitely wasted. Um, Number two, I'm gonna go with one of the probably greatest events ever in movie history. I know which one you like better, but I'm gonna go Avengers Infinity War for this one. I remember us standing out in line for the theater. I remember our jaws on the floor at the end of that movie where the good guys lost for the first time. Not only that, but the amount of moments that get you on your feet, the amount of moments that, make your heart drop. Thanos is one of the greatest villains ever in a comic book movie. He's up there with like Heath Ledger's Joker. So I'm gonna go with Avengers Infinity War. Not only that, but the story is very intriguing. The Russo brothers did such a good job at like balancing a ton of characters, and forever it'll set the bar for crossover event movies and everything. And we'll probably talk about another crossover one. Not Avengers, but another one that came before this. So, but yeah, definitely Avengers Infinity War. Now, for the third pick, I have kind of thought kind of out of the box and I was going down the list while you were talking. And I almost forgot about this, but definitely gonna have to do it. For my number three pick, I'm gonna take Logan. Hugh
Oh,
Jackman's
dude, yeah,
Logan is
good pick.
like, dude, it is so freaking good for a time that like I don't know, it just does so many good things. And you have about you really do think that Logan is on his last leg, like this is it for Wolverine. But what he does with X-23 and the journey he goes on and battling everything that he's been through over the course of all the X-Men movies. And I think it does such a good job at capturing like old man Logan and it's just shot beautifully, and he has such a perfect ending. Yeah, Logan at number three, I think is going to be kind of an underrated pick. It might be taken a little bit too high, but I think in the overall sense of a movie and capturing Logan as a human being, like not just Wolverine, like what he actually believes and what he cares for and everything, and his emotional trauma in the past, I think it does such a good job hammering home about how cool he is and how iconic he is, and Hugh Jackman is amazing. And yeah, so Logan at number three for
Yeah,
me.
great choice. I honestly, like when I was thinking of everything, I kind of forgot about the X-Men movies. Honestly, that's kind of bad, but yeah, great pick at three. I completely agree with you. So with my third pick, I'm gonna go back to crossover movies. I'm gonna go with Endgame. I am higher on Endgame than I am Infinity. I mean, it's so hard. They're both like
Yeah,
perfect. They're
right.
just both so great. But Endgame is like the culmination of everything. You know, Iron Man, I took my first pick. Like that's the start of it. Endgame is the end of it. Like it's the end of all that. Like literally, it just embody that journey just embodies like me growing up,
Hmm.
like into the movie fan I am now and the superhero movie fan I am. Like the whole journey, the whole culmination of everything. I think the Russo brothers just I don't know if they really could have done a better job. I know some people have some little complaints here and there about it, but um, I will never for the rest of my life. I don't know if a movie theater experience will ever be topped compared to Infinity War and Endgame. Like that whole I don't know if I've ever seen a movie like more talked about and universally just loved and um just crazy theater experience. Something I'll never forget for sure.
Agreed.
Uh, it was cool seeing I saw Iron Man with my dad, and I saw Endgame with my dad. So
Very
very,
cool.
very cool, like full circle moment. So yeah, that's Endgame, and then I'm gonna go with a movie that probably should have been taken a lot earlier in this draft. I'm gonna go with Dark Knight.
Yeah,
It's like it's I wouldn't even say it's like necessarily like one of the best comic book movies of all time. I think it's just like one of the best movies of all time.
right.
Uh, Christopher Nolan's Batman movies just feel separate than like normal superhero movies. Obviously, they still are, but like I honestly like I don't really think of these movies as comic book movies when I think of them. They're just Christopher Nolan movies. They're just sick movies. They just so happen to be about a comic book character that everyone loves. But yeah, Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker, R.I.P. Like one of the greatest movies of all time. Um, I never, I think all three of those movies are elite. I
Yeah.
think Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises are both great, and I don't think they're given as much credit as they should be
Hmm.
given.
Yeah.
Um, I think especially the third one gets a ton of hate, and I think the third one is on right up there on par with Dark Knight. But they're all three phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm gonna take Dark Knight at my fourth pick. So back over to you.
Yeah, I gave you my reasoning that I chose Matt Reeves' Batman over that. I
Oh, I
get it.
agree.
So that's just why I chose that. But I knew Dark Knight was going to get taken by you because obviously that movie's incredible, great movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, obviously. All right, so this is my what pick?
Fifth, fourth.
All right, fourth pick. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I'm gonna go with that. And this is miles better than the one we got before. I don't even remember who directed that. I'm sure you know. But yeah, it was cool to see like Margot Robbie back and everything, but I think Idris Elba and John Cena's Peacemaker and seeing Rick Flag again, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. We got to see Daniel, I don't know how to say his last name, the Polka Dot Man, King Shark. I think that movie not only is colorful, bright, and tackles a lot of like darker themes, but also being a lighthearted, fun movie. But at the same time, he balances a wide range of characters, and we know he can do that with the Guardians movies. He does it here again with the Suicide Squad, and I think he does such a freaking good job, man. Like, nails it. And I remember that came out kind of during COVID. Was it straight to streaming, or did it come out okay, I saw it on streaming because I knew that it was really short after. I know I'm being hypocritical for telling people to go to the movies, but I remember watching it and being just like jaw on the floor in awe, and it is incredible. And the never thought I would be emotional about seeing Rick Flag get killed. And that scene is incredible. Yeah. Not with what does he say? He goes, no one likes to show off. And then John Cena says, unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck. Yeah, that's hard. Love that. All right, next pick. I know that you don't love this movie as much as I do, but I think this is just so good. My next pick, what pick is this? Five. Is gonna be Black Panther. I think Chadwick Boseman and what? You think it's overrated. I don't. I think it's incredible. I think Chadwick Boseman embodies uh T'Challa as much as any character embodies anybody. Ryan Coogler nails this with one of the coolest villains of Michael B. Jordan, Skillmonger. It's a very good story about, homecoming, but at the same time, like having past demons and unturned pages. Like it is so dang good. I really, really, really miss Chadwick Boseman. I think he's incredible as T'Challa, and I think Black Panther is awesome. I know you think it's overrated. I don't. I think this is one of like the best stories in comic book, and Ryan Coogler nails it. I love Black Panther so much, and you know
Yeah,
that I talk so highly about Black Panther.
I know. I love your Suicide Squad pick. I was hoping that would fall back to me. I agree. I think if you're counting that as like the last run at the DC universe, that's the best one.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best comic. I really think it's one of the best comic book movies ever. Like it's just so bright and colorful and weird. So many heroes, but it's just done so well. I definitely think your Black Panther pick is insane considering some of the movies that still have not been taken.
I Black
I
Panther
don't
is a
think it's
five
even
stars for
remotely.
me.
I
Like
don't think it's remotely a top 20 superhero movie. But hey, that's just
it's a
me.
top five MCU movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
No,
is.
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're
It's
wrong.
not. No,
You're
you're
wrong.
wrong.
You're
You're
wrong.
wrong. You're wrong. Overrated. Anyways, all right, back to my next pick. This will be pick number six for me. You kind of threw me for a loop because I was gonna go Suicide Squad, but I'm gonna think outside the box a little bit here. I am gonna go Into the Spider-Verse. I had to think about which one is the first one. I think Into the Spider-Verse is definitely the best of the two. I know I think you actually like the second one better, but I think the first one is infinitely better. Um, it's one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful animated movie I've ever seen.
Definitely changed
Um,
animation.
it literally did. It changed the way like animation is done nowadays. Like that style is just like people are trying to like copy it. But yeah, story wise and character wise, and you get the soundtrack, like
Hmm.
just such an unbelievable character, unbelievable movie, and they introduced us to this character that I didn't really know too much about, but obviously we cannot wait for the third one. Still got a couple years on that, but yeah, so I am gonna go with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for pick number six. All right, so Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with my fifth pick, and to roll over into pick number six. Um, I can't believe this one hasn't been taken earlier. And just the fact that like you think that this movie isn't as good as Black Panther just blows my mind, but that's just besides the point. I'm gonna go with Winter Soldier. I think it's one of not even you take away the superhero aspect of it. I think it's like one of the best like political thrillers of all time. Like it is just it's so good. It's so the Russo brothers like they jumped into the MCU with that movie and they've tried to replicate it even with the most recent Captain America and it just hasn't been done. That is such a badass movie. It's such a great introduction to the Winter Soldier. And really it's the first movie you really get to like see how Cap has like adjusted to, the current world. So yeah, I think that is without a doubt like probably a top five MCU movie. So yeah, glad I got that at pick number six. So back over to you for your six and seven.
All right, so number six, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to James Gunn here. I'm gonna go Guardians 3. Um, and the reason I'm gonna do that is because I was gonna pick Guardians 1, but I know that one's gonna get picked because you'll probably end up picking it either whether it be later. But I think Guardians 3, just having that, we have two movies before it, and we've been so long with these characters, and finally seeing like it is easily probably no, it's easily the best trilogy in the MCU. I think all three movies are like solid. One and three agreed are better, like are really really good. Um, I don't think there's really a weak movie in that trilogy, but Guardians 3, man, the emotional like attachment you have to these characters and just you see like everybody getting emotional that Rocket is dying, and then you get like a really, really underrated villain that for some reason no one talks about in the High Evolutionary. We get Will Poulter as Adam Warlock, and then we get like just the coolest scene to end a comic book movie that I can like just having Florence and the Machine playing, the dog days are over and everybody's yelling, dancing around. Quill gets to go see his grandfather. Like, dude, it is just awesome and it's so heartfelt. And again, James Gunn, you're like just killing it with superhero movies, I swear. Um, man, the next one I feel like is gonna be kind of hard. So this would be my seventh pick, right?
Yes.
Seventh. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I was trying to think of like any older animated movies. There is a really good Batman one, but I'm not gonna do that, I don't think. Um, I know which one I want to take, but
Then take it, coward.
coward. You know what? F it. Number seven, I'm gonna take Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4 hour epic, not that piece of crap cut version that they did at 2 hours. Um, it is absolutely what I just said, a 4 hour epic. But to me, it doesn't feel like 4 hours. I remember when they dropped this and we were able to watch it for the first time. It was awesome. I think he nails it. I know in Man of Steel, and I feel like Warner Brothers kind of had, you know, just a little bit too much put on some of his movies. And if we were able to get like his release of what he wanted Justice League to be, a lot of other people would have been like on his train and defending him and everything. But I think when people finally watched it, like having those that iconic Justice League together with the Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman all together, and then the end of that movie, man, is so freaking cool. The Flash basically like stopping reversing time. It's so sick. So I'm gonna go with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think Zack Snyder does like a good job in this movie. And he didn't have Warner Brothers to sit there and just like hold it over him or whatever. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Perfect. So that was your what is it,
Seven.
seventh pick? All right, so back over to me for my seventh pick. With your sixth, you took Guardians 3. I'm gonna take Guardians 1. I think both of them are like they're both 5 stars. I think
Mhm.
both of them are top 10 MCU movies without a doubt. Guardians 3 was my favorite movie that year it came out, and I think Guardians 1 might have been my favorite movie the year that it came out. It was one that like definitely like completely like exceeded my expectations. I remember like seeing the trailer for Guardians 1 back when in high school when it came out, and I was like, this movie looks stupid. This looks so dumb. Like, what is Marvel doing? This was like a kind of on like a year or two after Avengers. It's like, what is this? And no one really knew what it was. They were still like they were very not known at all. And you go and you see it, and it's one of the best. And it still is one of the best. The soundtrack, the cast, it's so funny, but it's so emotional at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, so much fun, and I think that is, I mean, personally for me, I think it's the greatest comic book trilogy of all time, honestly, in my opinion. Like I said earlier with the Nolan's trilogy, like yeah, those are all three elite movies, but like I said, I think of them more so as movies. If you're thinking pure comic book, I think the Guardians trilogy is probably the greatest superhero trilogy ever. Now, that's not to say that Spider-Verse won't overtake it in a couple years, but as of now, that's it for me. And the first one is just still unreal. So yeah, that is Guardians 1 with my seventh pick. And down over to my this will be my eighth, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I'm gonna go with another fun one. A lot of people might not consider it. I don't know, but I think it's one of the funniest, and it took a long time to get made, but once it finally got made, it was incredible. And I'm gonna go with the first Deadpool. I know that was like, they attempted to kind of start that in whatever was it, Origins, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they just butchered it, and everyone thought the character was just like dead, like there was no hope. But then a couple years later, Ryan Reynolds is finally able to like get it back on track and like do his own thing. And I think it is still like one of the funniest comic book movies without a doubt. I think it is probably out of everything on my list, I think it might be the most quotable. It is just so funny. It's such a good origin story. It was so refreshing. Like, not to say that we just love cussing and blood and guts and gore, but like it was just refreshing to see a superhero movie just go that hard
Yeah.
into the R rating. Um, it had been done before, but I don't think to the extent that Deadpool did. Um, so yeah, I absolutely love the first Deadpool. I love all of them too. Deadpool 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine are all three, I think, great movies. And I'm curious to see like, if he is really implemented into the MCU at all, going forward. We'll just have to see. But yeah, so Guardians 1 at 7 and Deadpool at pick number 8.
Yeah.
Back over to you.
Yeah. So this is my eight and nine, right?
You're
Okay, so number eight, I'm gonna go with let's do let's do Civil War. I think Civil War is still a strong movie. The Russo brothers again, right?
Yep, all four
And
of theirs have been taken, so
yeah, and the reason I say that is because I feel like this one left a lot on the table because you're seeing the Avengers fight each other. And when the comic book came out, the Civil War comic book, I mean, people died in the comic book. So we were like, okay, how is this gonna go? And I feel like they did a great job. It's the really the only the person that beat the Avengers other than Thanos. Like, and he's just a regular guy. He tore him apart from the inside, and getting the reveal of Bucky being the one that killed Stark's parents. I mean, come on, dude. And he said, Captain America makes a quote that like, "You can't do this. He's my best friend." And Iron Man turns around and says, "So was I."
well, he killed my mom, so
Yeah. And they have that fight scene, and I remember, Iron Man shooting that freaking beam out and it hitting off Cap's shield. So sick, man. I think that one is so good. Winter Soldier is incredible too. I mean, Captain America would be up there for like the greatest comic book trilogy, but like the first one, I think is just falls a little flat. But yeah, for sure, Civil War and Winter Soldier, so good, so good. And here you go. So here's number nine. got Nugget in here. I want to take some for like nostalgia, but then I think about it and it's not as good. Where to go
You could go with
then?
a nostalgic pick if you want, because I think I'm going with a nostalgic pick here soon.
Um,
Unless you want to save it for last.
I haven't picked a Spider-Man movie, and you picked Spider-Man 2. I definitely think Spider-Man 2 is like incredible. And I'm gonna pick the first one. The original Spider-Man, the
Toby.
first one. Yeah, the first one with Tobey. And seeing that was the first superhero movie I really remember watching, and having some iconic stuff, and seeing him in the outfit for the first time, and seeing the different take now that how different that take was on Spider-Man with kind of like, the stuff coming out of his hands instead of like being stuff he created. And that was very like different, but it was very, very cool at the same time.
The whole wrestling scene
Yeah,
is
the whole
so
wrestling
iconic.
scene. And then I forgot the part where that's my problem. And, seeing with great power comes great responsibility. And it's so quotable as well. And yeah, him stopping the train on the train tracks. I think that's in the first one, right? Yeah. And be careful, he's a hero.
The train
Um,
tracks is the second one.
okay, so the first, yeah, and fucking Willem Dafoe is Norman Osborn, and seeing his like madness. Yeah, dude, I think it's dope. And I always talk about like how much I like Tom Holland and how much I like Andrew Garfield, but like as movies, those just aren't as good as the original trilogy. So I'm gonna take the first one. I know you take the second one. Second one is definitely way up there, but I can't not take a Spider-Man movie.
No, yeah, I'm glad because had you not taken that, I would have taken it with my next pick for sure. So I have 9 and 10. My 10th is going to be purely just guilty pleasure, nostalgia. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to go with nine, based off everything we have. Um, I'm not going to take it, but I think at the beginning of this, I clarified it as comic book movie draft and not a superhero movie draft. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I was gonna take Incredibles, but not a comic book. So definitely like heavily inspired by like a comic book. Like I feel
Right,
like that's like Pixar's Fantastic Four essentially.
right, right.
Um, yeah. So I'm not gonna take that. But dude, I'm struggling. There's a couple I'm going back and forth on. I have a big list in front of me. Um, I think. I'm gonna go with the first Avengers. I think the first Avengers, the first time getting to see all of them on screen together
Yeah,
was just so cool. Like it was a moment that everyone had been waiting for. It's the first real big superhero movie, like superhero team up movie. Obviously all these heroes have had solo movies, in the years leading up to it, and um, it was like the first time, getting all of them together and seeing how it would work out. And I remember going to see it opening night with my family, and yeah, and it still holds up, dude. Every time I watch it, it's still so sick. Seeing them team up in New York for the first time, the iconic shot of like the camera going around them with the score going.
yep,
Mark Ruffalo saying, that's my secret. I'm always angry. Just so many iconic little moments, and I think it obviously Endgame and Infinity War, like the ones everyone talks about, but like that's the first one, like. You got Iron Man introduced us to this world, but then this one really, I feel like, kicked off the
yeah,
world, if you know what I'm saying. And yeah, it's just that they were the greatest team, and we'll never get. I mean, not never, but like with those actors and everything, we'll never get that squad back together. And that movie meant a lot to me growing up for sure. So uh,
absolutely.
I'm gonna go with the first Avengers at my ninth pick. And my 10th, I knew I was taking this at 10 to begin with. It is 100% not even probably a top 50 comic book movie,
Oh God,
but it has always been one of my personal favorites. It's also one of my dad's personal favorites. Do you have any clue what I'm about to take?
does it happen to have Nicolas Cage in it?
Yes.
Yeah,
So with my 10th and final pick, I'm going to go with Ghost Rider. I have
nice.
always loved Ghost Rider. It has always had a soft spot for me. Um, I actually haven't watched it in a couple years. I think last time I watched it back in college, but dude, I thought that was the sickest movie ever when I saw it as a kid. Um, like dude, it's Nick Cage turning into a skull that lights on fire and rides motorcycles and fights demons. Like,
Yeah.
come on. And I know you agree with me. Maybe not top, what, 50 superhero movie, but top 10 comic book scene or superhero movie scene of all time of them riding through the desert.
Oh yeah.
Like, just absolute chills, biggest
Yeah.
grin, on my face every time I watch it. Sam Elliott was awesome in that. Nick Cage. I'm very curious. I really hope we get Ghost Rider in the MCU.
Agreed.
I feel like it's kind of coming, especially with maybe Mephisto showing up in Ironheart last week. I think that kind of leaves the door open. Uh,
Yep.
but we'll just have to see. Really, really hope. Really hope we get Ghost Rider back in some form. But I do love. I love that one that came out back in whatever it was, '08 or '09 or something.
Yeah.
Always will hold a soft spot in my heart. So, yeah, that rounds out my pick. Ghost Rider. Yeah, Ghost
Bef-
Rider number 10. What are you gonna close the draft off with?
Before I close it, if you had to pick one actor for the MCU, if they had to pick for Ghost Rider,
Keanu.
okay, I like that.
But I don't know about younger. It's a matter of if they want to go with a younger take or a little bit of older. If you go older, I'm gonna go Keanu. If you go younger, I genuinely have no clue. I don't know. He's just the answer for everything right now, but I feel like if done right, like I think Timmy C could be great for it. I don't know. He's just kind of a badass. I could picture him like being a biker.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard, but I think gut reaction, Keanu would be sick.
Yeah. Honestly, I can see it. I can see it. Can we just get Nick Cage back? He's a little old, but be funny. Okay, last pick. Fun fact, this is one of the first R-rated movies I ever watched. And I think you probably know where I'm going with this. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, Chloe Grace Moretz, I'm going with Kick Ass. I remember watching this for the first time and being like, what is happening? You got Hit Girl, Kick Ass, and what's Nicolas Cage's guy's name? Oh God. I can't remember his name for some reason, but yeah, no, I always thought it was funny, and it was like I said, one of the first R-rated movies I've ever seen, and it was just more funny because like these were just like street level guys. They didn't have any like crazy superpowers or anything, but they all dress up in their comic or their costumes and uh always with like the quick liners. It's funny, but at the same time like it's very entertaining. The action like fighting sequences are pretty funny at times too. So I always had a soft spot in this heart or soft spot in my heart for this movie. I actually don't know how like other people feel about it, but I remember I always enjoyed it. So I'm gonna put Kick Ass at number 10. Um, I feel like with 10 movies, what would be some that like got left off, you think?
Great, great pick, by the way. Then we can jump into honorable mentions. I think I've actually only seen Kick-Ass once, like back in high school. I have not watched it since. It's one of those movies I really want to go back and rewatch both that and the second one. Um, yeah, dude. I mean, I still have a couple in mind for honorable mentions, and probably some that should have been taken over Black Panther. But
Shut up.
um, I think Ragnarok could have made this list. Oh, dude,
Oh,
come on,
over Black Panther, you're
Oh
weird.
yeah, 100%.
No,
Thor Ragnarok, honorable mention for sure. I think Age of Ultron gets too much hate. That movie's incredible. We didn't
yeah.
take any of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, which was shocking.
I feel
Um,
like the only
I would have
one,
taken I would have taken No Way Home
right,
on this list, but that's also purely. I think it's a good movie, but it's definitely mostly based off nostalgia. Is the reason I
correct.
love that movie so much. So that's kind of why I didn't pick that. But um, yeah. Any others that you're thinking of? Like I said, I thought about taking Incredibles, but I can't remember just like how I specified the draft at the beginning. But uh,
Um, there were some original like animated Batman movies that were good. I know that where like one was like Mark Hamill playing Joker. I can't remember the exact names of them. That's why I didn't pick. And then there was one where like he was futuristic, and I went back and like looked at the scores. Apparently they're like really good, like Batman movies. But I just can't like remember them enough. I watched them when I was much younger. And then Watchmen wasn't taken either. I feel like that. I think it's technically a graphic novel, so you can do that with what you want. But um, yeah, Watchmen was not taken,
I got a
and
couple more as well on my list that I had pulled up. I think Days of Future Past, outside of Logan, is probably the best X-Men movie. That movie's awesome.
yeah,
It was so cool how they blended the two, both the originals and then the new people, how they blended it all together. Worked really well. And then I think Shazam is also kind
yeah,
of overlooked because it did come out in the middle of, that in that world of DC, it was like the outlier. I feel
yeah,
like that and like Suicide Squad were the two outliers. Um, so yeah, I think the first Shazam is fantastic. So,
yeah.
and
And then I just had it in my head. Crap. Oh, like you could do it for nostalgia because I remember watching this movie 100 times, but like the original Fantastic Four with like
yep.
Chris Evans and Jessica Alba and uh R.I.P. Doctor Doom. So yeah.
Hey, but we get the new one in 2 weeks.
Um yeah, we do. That's gonna be like the next big gigantic one. So yeah, man. Now
Fun
the blockbuster summer is kind of starting to wind down a little bit.
is makes me sad, but we still got a couple. We still got a couple. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna recap our drafts, and then we can just wrap the video up. So, here's Landon's draft, for his favorite comic book movies. So we got The Batman. Matt Reeves is the Batman. Avengers: Infinity War. Logan. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Black Panther. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man, the original with Tobey, and Kick-Ass. And then my list is the original Iron Man, Spider-Man 2, Avengers Endgame, The Dark Knight, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool, The Avengers, and last but not least, Ghost Rider. Had to go with a guilty pleasure there. Probably lost me the draft, but it's okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think so because I think people like if they remember that movie, they'll enjoy it. It's Nick
yeah.
Cage, man. You can't hate Nick Cage.
So that was a fun draft.